Hi everyone, it's Dr. Ramani. Welcome back to this YouTube channel on narcissism. And I have a new podcast and I'd love for you to listen to it. You can find it anywhere that you listen to podcasts, and please subscribe to it. And then you can find more information on the podcast in the video notes. It's called Navigating Narcissism. It's very different than what I do on this YouTube channel, and I hope you enjoy it. So let's talk about let's take on today's topic. And it's a question that somebody asked me, which is, how do we stop giving in to this damned cognitive dissonance? Cognitive dissonance is such a bear, right? So let me play this out for you. Let's pretend this is your journal, right? You're in a narcissistic relationship. You had a great weekend. Fun, beach, dinner, sex. You were wrong. Screw you, Dr. Ramani. I'm unsubscribing from her YouTube channel when I get home. My person was just having a moment. This isn't narcissism. Oh, no, it's Tuesday. Rage, gaslight, blame shift, contempt, manipulate. Oh, yeah. Okay, I get it. They had a tough meeting on Monday. Of course they're stressed after such a great weekend and the buzzkill of their boss who's such an ass. I get it. Oh, look, we had a good dinner on Wednesday. Wow, they're so mad at me because my sister dropped by on Thursday. Oh, I hope we have another great weekend. I will make sure we have a great weekend. I will be perfect. I'll set it all up. They're just angry because they had a bad week. I get it. I would be saying these things too. I would be the same way too. Would you? Would you be the same way? Just trying to say what you need to say to make the pieces fit, and that is cognitive dissonance, the fancy technical term for the mind F word that is the narcissistic relationship, as we ricochet between love story and horror show. Anyone watching this channel, almost all of you, are experts on cognitive dissonance, that idea that we're naturally driven to make things fit in our mind, right? We want this thing called congruence. We justify and rationalize so that we're not confused, and all of this justifying is driven by emotion, something we call motivated reasoning. We want a certain outcome. We want to be in the fun relationship. We want to be part of a family. Emotion drives our reasoning, and that may override rationality or the data in front of us, so we try to ignore those pieces we don't like, or we make up a story that makes the pieces fit, just like the fox and the sour grapes. Why do we do this? Because our brains don't like things that are inconsistent. It's sort of uncomfortable, like a little stone in your shoe. Now, I've talked about this on this channel, and in my new healing program, it has become so clear to me how much this impedes healing, cognitive dissonance, how much people struggle with the inconsistency created by these relationships and get stuck because they're trying to make everything fit. So here's a thought. How about you don't try to make it fit? It certainly goes against what our brains like, which is consistency. But what about getting comfortable with dissonance? So some examples. I am married to someone and they lie to me and they treat me badly. I just had a good weekend with someone who is emotionally inconsistent and manipulative. My mother is cold and unavailable and cruel, and I love her. My son is manipulative and takes advantage of us, and he's my little baby. Now imagine saying those things, not easy to do, instead of saying, I'm married to someone and sometimes they aren't perfect because they watch their father lie and cheat, but really, who is perfect? Or, we had a great weekend. I know, he's a handful, right? But he's only a handful right now because his boss is such a jerk. Or, my mother always did her best and she always made many sacrifices for us. Or, well, we overindulged our son. It's my fault because I worked all the time and I just didn't make enough time for him. You see the difference? In the second set of statements, you blame you for another person's bad behavior. You can see how that becomes a slippery slope for survivors of narcissistic abuse. Does seeing it clearly and pushing beyond and being comfortable with the dissonance magically solve everything? No. But it means that you are now having to sort of see the ickiness of it. You square up with it. You don't get to live in denial or talk yourself into the relationship. You have to see it clearly. You are uncomfortable. In fact, so uncomfortable that some people find the false narrative of the justification obviously much more comfortable. But that means, to have that false narrative means that you're constantly being bombarded with confusion and self-blame. These aren't appealing choices, right? If you fall into the justifications that the cognitive dissonance pulls for you, then you self-blame. If you lay it out clearly, you don't justify, but you may feel like a masochist for staying in it, which is another form of self-blame to see it that way. Or you see it for what it is and may be able to get to radical acceptance, even if you stay in the relationship. Now, I'm a bigger fan, obviously, because I want everyone to heal. I'm a bigger fan of seeing it clearly and not justifying it. I am stunned when I see how much justification happens out there. I know some of it is driven by empathy. You really do see that someone had a rough start in childhood and that was a driver in developing their personality, or they've fallen on hard times. But then you can play that out as a reality or as a truth rather than as a justification. You can say, yeah, they came from a really bad family and their behavior is still unacceptable. And you can see that their behavior is not okay. So we could try it this way. My mother is cold and invalidating. She had a tough childhood. I love her, and her behavior is not okay. We had a great weekend. Yeah, he has a rageful dad who always yelled, and it was all terrible, and their behavior is mean, and it's not okay. You can build your justification in as a statement rather than letting them get away with it. And now you can practice that last phrase. And this behavior is not okay. That you can say it, you can even justify it, but you got to call it out as not okay. Someone manipulating, gaslighting, yelling, raging, threatening, it's not okay. Building the story out this way can sometimes help you slowly get to a place of seeing it, naming it, not blaming yourself, and not getting stuck in the endless cycle. Over time, if you can do this, you may get better at boundaries or simply at getting out or disengaging, or at a minimum, not blaming yourself. Cognitive dissonance is second nature. I am basically asking you to do the equivalent of hold back a sneeze. Not easy to do, but the only way we heal or grow is by being uncomfortable. Irritation is what grows a pearl. Being okay with discomfort. Being okay with discomfort may be what gets you your life back. Give it a shot. Not easy to do, but give it a shot. Thanks again.